My name is Shwerepo with a video on simulation, e-commerce checkout process simulation model for 20 customers. It also represents the 50 replications that are based on interarrival time random number. So I'm going to explain every step that I used to come up with this simulation. I had different variables, or I would call columns, like you see here: customer number, interarrival time, arrival time, service time, start service time, finish service time, time in the system, idle time. So this variable, customer number, represents the ideas, customer IDs distributed to customers according to the order they came to be worked on, to be served. Now we have interarrival time. This one represents the minutes which interarrival time, the minutes these customers arrived, but these minutes are given randomly, and to get this random number I used Excel function random between 1 and 15. So all customers that came here, their random numbers, they go through 1 through 15. So this is the function that I used to get the interarrival time. Now we go to the next column or variable, which is arrival time. Now we are looking at the first customer is given the arrival time of 0, but when how did we get the arrival time for subsequent customers? The arrival time for subsequent customers was got through using this Excel formula, whereby we got the previous arrival time, or for the previous customer, then we added it with this customer's interarrival time, and we're able to get 14 for the second customer to come in. So I used drag. I dragged to fill the rest of the customer's arrival time, which is in minutes. Then afterwards I continued with the service time. How did you come about the service time? So we gave them arrival time that is between 1 and 8. So I used Excel function random between to come up with these figures, and after getting this one I had to drag to fill the rest of the cells. Now we come to the start service time. The first customer starts with a 0 as indicated here. Then when we go to subsequent, or the customers that come after the first one, we use this formula that represents the maximum time, the maximum arrival time, the maximum time between the arrival time and the finish time, and we go to this. And then for the rest I had to fill by dragging. I went on to also to find the finish time for each customer to be worked on, the time taken for when the customers finished to be worked on. So how did we get this? We get the finish time actually by adding start service time plus the arrival time of that customer. Then for the rest we autofill as we drag. Then the time spent in the system, each customer, the time spent in the system, we got it by subtracting the finish time here, finish service time, then minus the arrival time. So if I get the finish time for this client, this customer, 7 minus 0, I end up getting 7. So this customer took 7 minutes in the system. So for the rest I had to auto fill like you see here. Then we are calculating the idle time. This may I call this person clerk who was working on these clients, the time this person spent while being idle, not working on anyone. So how did we get this idle time? Of course, for the first customer, there was no idle time recorded. Then for the subsequent customers, I got the idle time actually by subtracting start service time minus finish service time. So now like now, if we subtract this start service time minus this one, the idle time we get is 7. Then for the rest I drag. So we had to find the average time spent in the system. For the average time spent in the system, we got it by getting the average of the time in the system, and this is the figure we got here. Then the time the server is idle, we also got it by dividing the idle time by 3 hours, which is 180 minutes times 100. That's how we arrived at this percentage of the idle time. Now, going to the 50 replications, so we also simulated for 50 other customers that came in, also sharing the interarrival random number or time. So to arrive at this, at least we linked this interarrival time cell here. Then I selected every cell with data. Then I had to go to data, what if analysis, data table here. That's where I filled in I used this column input and I clicked in an empty cell to get all the results here. Then I had to drag to get everything. Thank you for listening. My name is Vedepo again.